for the 3 points. Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
What's up, football fans? It's another episode of The Football Therapist. I'm your host, Rami Mghani, back again at Yahya's place, back again with Haytham and his mask on due to his cat allergies. But we've got an interesting episode today. It's the UCL Round of 16 roundup and a couple other topics that we're going to cover. And once again, back to the snapshots and back to the digging deep into some of the topics that interest all. Thanks again for having us, Yahya.
You're welcome.
Top of the morning to you, gentlemen.
Top of the morning, Mr. Haytham. So as usual, we're going to start off with a few snapshots of the leagues before we get into the juicy stuff. So in La Liga, Real recovered, won 3 straight since that horrible loss to Alaves. They're now tied with Sociedad in second, third, but they've got a game in hand, so they have a chance to go into second. Atletico's still leading, even though Madrid so beautifully won that Madrid derby. So they're level on points, but Atletico have 2 games in hand, so it's still far from job done. And Barcelona have a game in hand, and they have a chance to leapfrog Villarreal to get into the UCL places. So they've also started to recover bit by bit.
Where are they right now?
They're in 5th.
Oh, okay. So, better than last week.
Yeah. And in Serie A, so AC Milan getting put under a bit of pressure by Inter. So last week we were talking, they were 5 points ahead. Now they're 1 point ahead. So it just shows you how much difference just 1 week can do. They're 4 ahead of Juve. So Juve also time to probably kick it up a notch with Milan dropping a few points.
Mm-hmm.
Bundesliga, Leverkusen have overtaken Bayern by 1 point. So at the top. And Bayern are tied with Leipzig in second and third. So Leipzig really keeping that form going. And it's going to be interesting to see how that carries over into the Champions League. Dortmund in 4th, and the sad news you never want to hear, unfortunately dismissed their manager, Lucien Favre, this week. I mean, I don't know how, bad Dortmund's form has been for them to dismiss him. I mean, being in 4th and only, 4 points or 5 points behind doesn't seem like such a bad thing, right? But yeah, it's just what it is. So Lucien Favre dismissed. In Ligue 1, Lille are now leading PSG by 1 point. And Lyon by 2. So that's the quick roundup of the snapshots. I'm leaving EPL for last because that's an interesting point we're going to dig into. So Liverpool now clear at the top over Spurs.
Finally.
And interestingly, Southampton in 3rd, and them and Leicester 3rd and 4th, and only 1 point behind Spurs. So for me, I love those Cinderella stories. It's always nice to see that there might be that team you didn't expect challenging.
Yeah.
Even with Danny Ings injured, Che Adams has been really, really good. They've been playing good football, so it's nice to see them there. United are in 6th, but they could actually jump into second and then just be 2 points behind Liverpool. So as much as we, crap on United all the time, and it seems like they're doing horrible, in the league they're actually not doing that bad. But you always say it. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. Let's see when it actually comes to it, if they actually win that game in hand. So that's what's happening in the EPL, and that all came as a result of that Liverpool versus Spurs game that played last week. Very nice game, very interesting game. There was quite a lot of back and forth going on there. So I mean, first of all, Yahya, I actually obviously want to get your thoughts. So what did you think about the game?
I mean, this team continues to surprise me, to be honest. It's an excuse that keeps getting said, but at the end of the day, 4 first-team players at least are out. And when you consider the season we've had, where literally every single first-team player, with the exception of... No, actually, Alisson was out. With the exception of, I think, Firmino, Fabinho had a couple of days out. So Firmino, Wijnaldum, Curtis Jones, and Nico Williams. Mm-hmm. And Robbo, he was out for maybe a couple of days. So basically 5 team players. Everybody else was injured at 1 point or another. Yeah. And to be able, after that run of game, that amount of injuries, and still be first... I think that's really impressive. The only thing that Liverpool needs to improve on is the away form. Mm-hmm. The away form is really, really bad. But then, like you saw, I mean, we were joking about it before the game. You were telling me, so Liverpool's playing against Tottenham. I was like, yeah, we'll probably lose, and then wait, it's in Anfield, yeah, we're gonna win.
Yeah, the home form is nothing to be mentioned about it. But like you rightly mentioned, it's just once they start getting that away form back, which they are perfectly capable of doing, and they've done it before.
Yeah.
Do you think though this is kind of a sign of them that they'll bounce back and get some momentum after that? A few months ago, the 7-1 defeat, or was it 7-2? To Aston Villa.
So quite honestly, and I think that's why I keep saying Alisson is probably our most important player, because Adrian was in goal that game.
Okay.
And it was the first game for him back, and the first goal was his mistake.
Honestly, not mentioning it because of banter, but was it the point of my question was? Do you think it was kind of like a glitch in the matrix?
No, I think it depends on injuries. It just completely depends on injuries. So a big part of the reason I think that we don't have that good of an away form is we're forced to play Fabinho in center half.
Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to having him, I mean, if you guys watch the game, you know how good he is at just intercepting and somehow doing the perfect tackle to get the ball. So in away games, usually when the teams try to break, you have Fabinho there, tackles, and he starts the counter-attack immediately. I think that's one of the things we're losing. Also, Thiago never played, but I imagine he'd make a difference. I mean, guys, you have to consider Curtis Jones, as good as he is, he was never a regular starter until this season, and that's because of injuries. And he's still only 19 years old.
Yeah, he's just a kid. But also, I think the goalkeeper discussion is actually really important, because when I watch the game, there is no way Adrian will ever be able to distribute the way Alisson does. And so many of Liverpool's potency comes from right from the back, from his distribution. So it's not to say Adrian is a bad goalkeeper. He's not a bad. He's actually quite a good goalkeeper, but he does not have that skill that Alisson has, and it's a very important skill for Liverpool.
A point to prove what you're saying is the fact that Adrian has been dropped, and now we're playing a 22 or 21-year-old, like, I forgot his name, Kevin Cowman.
Yeah, he can pronounce it.
Yeah, it's not Kevin, it's like Kevin or something. Just because he has better distribution skills. His shot stopping is probably worse than Adrian.
Yeah.
But when he was required to be relied on, he still did good saves. But I mean, Alisson is the most important. And I'll give you an example. Son's goal, the one-on-one, I was genuinely surprised it went in. Because usually in those situations, Alisson doesn't get beat, or at least puts a hand on it. But Son's goal, the way he played it, because usually in that position, the player will always play it in the far corner. And if you go in the replay, Alisson is preparing to jump at the far corner as he's just trying to block that out. So what does Son play? He plays it in the near corner.
Yeah,
and it had to be inch perfect.
Son is a player who's capable of like getting that inch perfect.
So
he's probably one of the best, finishers.
And I was really impressed with that goal. I was really impressed at how. Because Son is a very good player, is very smart, and that just shows it. He knows what Alisson is like, so he played it where he knows Alisson won't get it.
Hats off to him for winning the Puskás Award, by the way.
That's a beautiful goal.
It was.
The only fan voted one, right?
Yeah.
But, well, it's deserved anyway.
As much as it pains me to say, I actually thought Luis Suarez would win it with the back heel flick.
Right.
That was a beautiful goal. I have to say it. I have to be, unbiased.
Yeah.
But I was happy that Son won. It was a beautiful goal. And the game was actually a very interesting game, but something is that Liverpool completely dominated possession. So it's something funny is that Mourinho had a bit of a rant after the game. He was like, the better team lost. If I behaved like Klopp, I would have gotten sent off.
I mean, he's not wrong. about the getting sent off, not the better team.
Is it because of its reputation, you think?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Before we started recording, Haysam, you were mentioning something about Mourinho. You were talking negatively about him about something.
So Mourinho, generally speaking, he is, he is a post-match he's a bad loser. I don't want to say sore loser, but generally speaking, he's a bad loser. I think the game was very balanced. I think both teams played very well with the players that they had available. And again, cliche, could have gone either way, but Liverpool capitalized and got away with the win. So obviously Mourinho's very upset. He lost crucial 3 points. He's aiming for the title, so he's definitely pissed off, and rightfully so. But His side played a good game. I still have my money on Tottenham maintaining top 3, top 2 position.
I was just surprised with how he rolled it out, because I don't think there's a single game this season that Tottenham played where they had 25% possession or
No, but that is Mourinho usually against big teams. That's he played like that against City, I think, Arsenal definitely, maybe United. I don't remember who the third team, maybe Chelsea, and all of them he beat them just because he played that strategy of sit back and then play on the counter-attack.
You know, I think one thing that's an interesting thought, because for me, Mourinho did used to do that when he had a team that he did not think could compete. You know what I mean? So whenever he felt that my team cannot compete with City, for example, he would roll out that strategy. You know, everyone said, "Oh, the park the bus," you know, but now he has a good team. He has a potent team. He's got talent in every single position on the field. Reguilon has been an amazing addition to that squad. Højbjerg, like someone was mentioning, Højbjerg is a bully. He's been holding that midfield down. So now you have the team. So that's why I'm just surprised that he still rolls it out.
No, but I mean, you have to consider for all of the injuries in Liverpool, it's like Liverpool is still will punish you immediately.
Yeah.
At any moment's time.
So he's a bit apprehensive about how he's...
I think he approached it because either you have to go head to head with Liverpool and basically outrun, which is incredibly difficult because of the stamina conditioning that the team goes through, or you need to be very, very low block and play incredibly on the counter-attack. And with the players and the setup that Mourinho has, they are they are the most lethal counter-attacking team out there.
Yeah.
And you know, like you saw, basically, they had 2 chances to win it. That free header from Kane and I forgot who the second player is, but they had 2 clear chances. It's just fine margins. So that is the risk with going that strategy. You will never win, let's say, 4-0 or whatever, or like a big margin. It's always going to be 1 goal difference.
Yeah.
And the difference is that they miss their chances, and then Liverpool and that's my point. Liverpool are relentless, very high stamina conditions, got the winner in like 90th minute, which honestly is not that bizarre, especially if you look at the scores last year.
Yeah. And Harry Kane uncharacteristically missing some chances, so could have gone their way.
It's okay. It's good for me.
But but Jose Mourinho always fun.
One more small
and good value.
One interesting point: Liverpool didn't make any substitutions in that game
because look who's on the bench. No one. We're so injured. So people use this to say Klopp wants 5 substitutions, but he doesn't change. But 90th minute, 1-1, you want to win. Who are you going to bring on? Nobody. There's nobody on the bench to bring on.
Divock Origi.
Did you see what he did in the last game?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of sad because Origi, ever since that Champions League run, he's just regressed.
Yeah.
He really hasn't been the same.
Yeah. He had that moment, and then it was gone after that. But so it's shaping up quite nicely in the EPL, and as I just mentioned before, Mourinho's always good value. Fun to hear his rants, hear his thoughts.
But by the way, I think it's very underhanded. It's very Mourinho-esque to come out and say, "Oh, the best team lost" or whatever. You know, I mean, everybody will say, "Well, Liverpool had more possession," but I don't think it's about that. I really think both teams played exactly the way they wanted to. They both played excellent.
I think it's just like you said, Mourinho-esque. He the mind games, trying to put him off, trying to create some kind of controversy. And
I think what he was trying to do, which is the right thing, is retain the confidence of his players.
Yeah. Which
makes sense because I think we saw maybe not last year, the year before under Pochettino, where the confidence of the players was just shot. They Tottenham players didn't really have that strong mentality. So this year they are starting to get it, and I think what he's trying to do is just retain that mentality, which is good for him.
It's good man management.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. So I think that should, take us into the next section. We'll look to see how that shapes up in the EPL. But so this week we had the draw for the Champions League round of 16 and some pretty interesting matchups as we predicted last week. And so what we thought would be cool on this episode is to actually go through the fixtures and see a little bit of predictions, what we think is going to happen. Our start of season predictions have bombed so far. So let's see if we have better luck with the UCL. So, I mean, starting off with Leipzig versus Liverpool. I mean, I think it's easy to say for people to say, yeah, Liverpool are going to take it easy, but Leipzig have been giant killers to a certain extent. They have been putting in quite a few performances.
They have, but the last 2 times we've played against or specifically the manager, like Hoffenheim before that even, we came on top. So
Yeah.
it won't be an easy game, but I expect Liverpool to win, to be honest.
Yeah, and Leipzig just signed that Hungarian player we're talking about, Sobolai. Yeah, is it? I think.
Yeah, I just have
It's
a quick
RB Leipzig
question.
who signed him, right? So
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if he'll play though. If he's
Who is he
Yeah,
similar to?
is he eligible to play though?
Yeah,
Did
we
he
have
play
to
in the
check that.
Champions League? For Salzburg?
No, I don't think so. In the qualifiers, so we'll have to see if that means he plays or not. But either way, yeah, I think Liverpool will take it, but I just don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for them.
So what is he? Because I actually never watched him before. Who does he play like?
I think he's got a bit of pace. And
So I was
powerful.
thinking, I was thinking, I hope he's not another kind of overrated East European that will kind of fade into mediocrity.
Luka Jovic.
Yeah, well, maybe. I was thinking more along the lines of Peter Schick of 2-3 years ago. Also Christoph Piontek, who was amazing at Genoa, then went to AC Milan, and he scored a few goals at AC Milan, then suddenly again disappeared. He's at Hertha Berlin. Not too sure how he's doing with them, but
Can be great since we haven't been talking about him much.
right? Yeah. So I hope he doesn't end up like one of those names. But he is an interesting striker. He's got a lot of pace, good finishing.
I think he is. To answer your question, I think he is a little bit like Luka Jovic. I also haven't seen him extensively, but from what little I've seen, it just seemed like he had that sort of power to him. So yeah, we'll see if he ends up playing against Liverpool. Second game, which is I think it's going to be the game of the second round of the round of 16. Barcelona versus PSG.
PSG.
I think so too. I mean, PSG, if they're fully healthy, if they're on their game, and if Barcelona don't maintain the form that they've kind of started to find now going into it. The thing is that the first game is at the Nou Camp, and you had mentioned before we started recording, Haytham, that who's playing at home first usually has a part to play.
Yeah.
So playing at the Nou Camp.
So the
might
first
work.
leg, second leg, home and away sequence is definitely significant in terms of determining my prediction. But short answer, I got my money on PSG. I think they're gonna come through with this. I see perhaps a draw at the Camp Nou, and then in the Parc des Princes, PSG will come through, definitely.
And we might be facing a Messi-less Barcelona.
Possibly. I don't know. No, I don't think. Well, you mean after January?
Yeah?
No, I think Messi will see the season.
He doesn't get cup tied for that, does he? If he gets transferred to PSG.
No, he does.
He does.
He's
He gets
not.
cup
He's,
tied.
he's not.
He does,
He's not
because he
eligible.
played in the group
100%
stages,
not
yeah.
eligible.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if the rumors are true about Barcelona being, tight on money. If they wait until the summer, they won't really get anything transfer fee. If they go for January, they might get something back.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. So I think for me, I do see a very big possibility that it may go to penalties. So that'll.
No, I think PSG is going to be comfortable.
For me, it's just more about what happens in that first leg in the Nou Camp. You know what I mean?
So Nou Camp, Barcelona is going to win there, but it won't be really that big because they're good at home. But away, their form in the Champions League has been dismissal for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
and that's where they're going to lose it.
Okay, cool. Porto Juve. Haytham.
I mean, a lot of and we touched upon it, I think, a little bit last week. A lot of the Juve fans were expressing their happiness on this draw. Like I said last week, I'm glad we didn't get a Spanish side. But FC Porto, they're not top of the Portuguese league. I mean, they're third, which is normal. You have the big three in Portugal that always occupy those top 3 spots.
Yeah.
I think Juventus should go through. Again, I don't know how Juventus will do in the first leg. Probably might struggle there, but they definitely should get the job done at home. We have faced FC Porto, I think, a couple of seasons back, defeated them away and home comfortably.
Yeah.
So,
But Porto
we
is
had
one
a
of
slightly
those.
different side, slightly better side. I believe it was under Allegri at the time. So,
Porto is one of those teams that in Europe where suddenly out of nowhere they just bring it. So it just depends on whether they do that. But yeah, I see a Juve.
I think the big Portuguese three tend to do that, but especially Porto and Benfica,
Yeah.
they tend to cause an upset out of nowhere, be it versus an
Benfica
EPL
more than
side.
Porto.
Yeah, Benfica are so upset prone. Like they can just turn the tables around like unexpectedly.
Yeah, sure. I think you agree. Juve probably.
Yeah, Juve are too good for Porto.
Yeah. One of the more evenly matched ones is going to be Sevilla Dortmund.
Yeah.
So that is actually going to be
Very
really
interesting.
cracking.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how good the new manager comes in
Yeah,
for
because
Dortmund.
it's how Dortmund now react to
And
having
I
that
mean, if Sevilla brings in their Europa League form, my money's in Sevilla.
Yeah, I think Sevilla's got it.
Yeah.
Up until the manager got sacked, I was gonna say Dortmund, but I think now skewed more towards Sevilla because they're gonna have to adjust.
I don't think it's
Very
about
good.
adjusting as much as Sevilla is actually a really good team with
They're a really good team, but
Lopetegui at the helm.
so are Dortmund. It's just they just had crappy form the last couple of weeks, and then that just immediately it was very Real Madrid. Crappy form for a few games, and the coach is out.
So I think it really comes down to two things, right?
Mm.
Dortmund, who comes in and how quick can he get them to play good?
Yeah.
The second thing is, can Sevilla bring in their Europa League form and it's more of a European form? Because they are really deadly when they are playing in the European competitions, or at least the Europa League.
And also, they may be active in the January transfer window, so it's like keen to see if they do bring in anyone. And also, I mean, if you think about it, this round is going to be played in February, so this coach has 2 months to get his players in tune, right? So we'll see about that. Next fixture, and the one who I really think they were just very unlucky with such a draw, is Lazio against Bayern, because I was gonna say Lazio could have been the team that would cause an upset in the round of 16 until they drew Bayern, and then I said, okay, no, I think they will give them a bit of trouble.
Poor
but
Lazio, I think it's like the first time that they qualified to the round of 16
It's just
in
crappy luck. for
15
them,
or
to be
20
honest,
years.
You know,
No, it should be Bayern.
but they will come in really excited about that, so they may be like a mosquito, like they, they may like
they'll probably get a
annoy
goal.
Bayern.
They'll probably take the
Yeah.
lead
Yeah.
in Rome, but yeah, I think that's as good as it gets.
Then Lewandowski will come in and like
And the one else.
hat trick in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, like when he did that, like what was it, like a 17-minute super hat trick or something?
It was even shorter, I think. I don't remember.
The team that you guys were all trying to avoid, Atletico, is up against Chelsea. How ecstatic are you about that? But that is a good matchup, though.
It is a
No,
good matchup,
no.
but Chelsea's form has been pretty bad as of late. They're
No, I mean,
leaking
they're-
a lot
they're-
of goals, and
They're up and down, but the thing is, Chelsea, I don't remember the last time they played well against a big team,
Yeah, that's very true.
regardless of everything.
And Atletico have been a big team
Yeah.
this season.
So I'd be really, really surprised if Atletico doesn't qualify.
Yeah.
I
But
believe-
honestly, I'm not watching the
I
games.
believe Chelsea hasn't beaten a top 5 side this
in
season.
the league.
Yeah. So
It
far.
could be true because I cannot, for the life of me, remember a game that they won against a big team.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it could really be true.
Yeah. But I don't see them really mounting the challenge. Just not so much like, crapping on Chelsea or anything, but more so about how potent Atletico have been this season.
Suarez.
More Joao Felix, actually. He's been having a great season.
I love Joao Felix.
Yeah, but you
He's
love
a-
Suarez, so I have to throw that in.
Yeah, my favorite player and my favorite person. Even from before the Barcelona days, from when he kicked Ghana out of the World Cup with that handball.
Yes.
I'm still bitter about that
I
till
remember
this
that.
day.
Yeah.
I don't want to relive it. An interesting, I think this is actually a game that I definitely want to watch. Gladbach versus City. Just because of how surprising Gladbach have been, and also because of how City haven't really performed up until this standard. I actually think Gladbach could get away with this one. What do you think?
No.
Even with City playing the way
No,
they're
I
playing?
think it really depends if Aguero is back or not. Because I think
yeah.
City's biggest downfall this season has been the fact that they have to rely on Jesus as their striker.
But even with Aguero in the squad, they haven't had the same fluidity.
They haven't, but they're
have.
much better with Aguero there because they create a ton of chances, they just don't finish it.
Yeah.
And you would bet on Aguero actually finishing at least one or two of those chances if he's at the end of it.
But their defense has also been a little bit flimsy, and Gladbach have actually been very surprising.
That is true,
offense.
but I think it's also very important. So one of the German players that moved from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, I just can't remember who it was for the life of me, when he was explaining the differences between the leagues. It could have been actually Havertz in Chelsea.
Kai Havertz, yeah.
I think it was him. He was basically explaining that the Premier League is just on all of the time and everything is extremely quick.
Yeah.
So if City play, I know they have their slow possession football, but they also have very, very quick, counter-attacking football. They play similarly very high pressing. So, and you'd assume City would be at the top of their game. It's a Champions League game.
Yeah.
I think there will be a bit too much.
Okay. I think I'd like to see Gladbach take that excitement of being in the round of 16 for the first time and maintain that potency to actually trouble them. I think from my perspective, Gladbach just might.
I think this is going to be one of the top two exciting games.
Yeah, that should be
this
good.
one and the next one.
And finally, Real Madrid versus Atalanta, starting off in Italy. Actually, Madrid are going to be playing away from home, and for me, everyone is getting in touch with me saying, your cat has started to backbite them.
Here.
I'm okay.
Do you need an antihistamine? Are you good?
Where's your EpiPen?
I'm good.
So so everyone's like getting in touch with me saying, you guys, Real Madrid, you get the lucky draw. For me, Atalanta is not a lucky draw. I know they've dropped the ball a bit, but we've had a bit of trouble on defense, and Atalanta's attack is just fantastic, and I'm actually worried.
They are fantastic.
That
So
we
with the Atalanta game fresh in my mind last weekend, they play a very high pressing kind of game.
Yeah.
They really come at you. They hassle their opponents. They try to steal the ball back and launch that quick counter and Gasperini, their coach, is a really good decision maker in the middle of the games. Like
he's a quick learner.
He knows what cards to kind of throw and what changes to do as depending on the game's tempo and his team's situation to turn around the result.
Yeah.
Having said all that, I think Atalanta will definitely win the first leg at home, probably like a 1-0 scoreline or 2-1, something like that. And Real Madrid will probably turn it around in the second leg. And I also say this taking Real Madrid's recent CL knockout form into account. I think in the last couple of years, there have been obvious surprises. So,
what I think is that, like you rightly mentioned, Atalanta tend to play high pressing games, tend to play a bit of a high line. And their defense has actually suffered because of it, right? So it really, for me, comes down to so now that Ramos is back from injury, if he does not relapse, and hopefully he won't, if it's Ramos and Varane in central defense, I do trust that they could probably contain them and maybe ship in a goal away, like you said. But what I'm relying on is that for Benzema and Vinicius, and hopefully Hazard, if not Vinicius, hopefully by then Hazard, to be on their potent form. Because if you're playing a front line of a healthy Hazard, a healthy Benzema, and on the right a healthy, I would say Marco Asensio, but it's actually Zidane has favored Lucas Vazquez and Rodrigo so far. And Rodrigo is, he's like this wonder kid who just like scores in the Champions League. If they're firing, then Atalanta's defense will not be able to handle shipping in. They'll ship in maybe 2-3 goals. So that's what I'm relying on. Like we will probably concede, but I think we'll outscore them if they play that high line.
Yeah.
If they decide to like completely switch up their tactic and park the bus, then it's going to be a snooze fest.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to attack. We're not going to be able to penetrate their defense.
Yeah, Gasperini is not known for parking.
But I don't think he will.
He's a very adventurous tactician.
That's what I'm saying. If he completely tries to catch them off guard and do that, but I don't think he will.
I actually think they're gonna lose or draw the first game, and then win
away
the second
to
one.
Atalanta, in Italy.
No, I mean Atalanta.
they will.
Yeah, I
yeah.
just want to be different and say they're gonna win, but I think Atalanta is gonna be playing better in the second game.
I
Than
don't
they are
think
in
your
the first
prediction
game.
is too far off. It's possible, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want I bet more on Real Madrid's pedigree and experience, and so
Yeah, definitely.
I hope you're wrong.
No, I think. Look, at the end of the day, I think Madrid is gonna do it. But if there is gonna be an upset, it is this game.
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got upset written all over it.
I mean, the other upset is obviously Juventus because you guys are amazing against weaker teams.
That's true. Yeah.
Ajax.
You know what? It's
Thank you. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah.
The round of 16 in the
Olympique
Champions
Lyon.
League has not been this cracking in a couple of years, right? It's quite.
Been
They're
boring,
nice.
yeah.
They're really nice fixtures up in there.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Cool. So that's the roundup for the round of 16. I think we can end the episode with just one more little event that happened this week. So obviously Ballon d'Or has been scrapped because of Corona for this year, but FIFA went ahead with the best awards, and Robert Lewandowski winning the best player. I think no arguments there. Absolutely well deserved.
No arguments.
He had an
No
amazing
debate. Yeah.
season. There's no debate about that. And there were, they had the usual FIFA Pro top 11, debatable. We were discussing it that some players you don't agree, some players you do. But we won't get into that. We'll just wrap it up with one interesting thing, though, that's kind of hitting the headlines now. And that was the fact that when they revealed the voting of national team captain, and Messi actually voted for Neymar as first and Mbappe as second. And in the goalkeeper department, he voted for Keylor Navas as the best goalkeeper of the year, ahead of Manuel Neuer. So obviously there have been some rumors now running around that Messi may actually move to PSG in the transfer window. So is this kind of fueling those rumors of him voting for all these PSG players who honestly didn't win much last season, right?
I mean, Messi has been outspoken about his dismay and disenchantment at Barcelona club management, so it might be an interesting call to his friends in a way. So, but again, I can't really get into Messi's mind and understand that. But there is an interesting pattern there, and it's like it's as if he's sending a clear message, like I got your backs, and you have my vote, and I'm here if you need me.
Because he is friendly with Neymar.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
obviously Mbappe is one of the
And
best
Neymar's
players in
friendly
the
with
world.
him right after the Champions League draw. He's like,
But I
I'll see you
still-
at the Camp Nou. I can't wait to play. Yeah.
But he wouldn't have, I don't see Messi would have voted for in this manner on any other year.
Counterpoint.
Yeah, exactly. That's also a significant point.
Yeah.
Counterpoint.
from
Counterpoint,
They're all
Mr.
joining
Yahya.
Barcelona instead.
What is it? What's
They're
that?
all joining Barcelona instead.
I don't.
Keylor Navas will never go to Barcelona.
No, I mean, look, it's interesting, but at the same time, it could be just that. I mean, PSG did make the semifinals.
Yeah, they had a good run.
He just doesn't like Germans for some reason.
He just didn't want to vote. Well, he did put Lewandowski as his third choice in the voting. So he was like, "I'll get too much shtick if I don't have his name in there." But actually, interesting point to finish on. If hypothetically Messi does move to Paris Saint-Germain in January, is that gonna be the missing piece for PSG to finally cross that threshold that they haven't been able to? Is it too little, too late? He's beyond his prime, blah blah blah, etc.
I think Messi will have a lot of freedom to move and to express himself a lot in Ligue 1. So I expect a lot of goals and assists and a lot of YouTube compilations of him.
But he can't play in the Champions League, right? That's what we're saying.
I don't think he can.
So it's
Yeah,
going to
but-
have to be next year, and by then we don't know how his form is, if his age is going to catch up to him by then, etc. For him to be that final, like I said, that final piece of the puzzle for PSG to finally get European glory, which has evaded them so far. So
I don't know. I mean, the Champions League, usually the winner of the Champions League isn't the team filled with star names. It's the most hardworking team.
Yeah.
So
good point, yeah.
even if Messi is there, unless the team is hardworking and to be honest, as hardworking as they are,
Hardworking and consistency as well.
yeah, and luck obviously, but I mean
A little
usually
bit of
it's the
luck, yeah.
most hardworking team that makes it. And PSG are hardworking, but they didn't make the final last year, to be fair. But again,
They always miss that like final. Oomph,
but do you
know?
think the reason they made the final is because there wasn't home and away games? I think that played into it.
No. I look honestly. PSG played really well.
They did.
Last year.
They did.
They played like a championship.
But I'll give you an
team,
example.
know?
The year before, when United knocked them out, they completely outplayed the first game, and then the second game, United came back.
Yeah.
So I think it might be, it's like you said, consistency.
Yeah.
So maybe if we're talking about home and away, they won't really have that same consistency. As opposed to when it was basically more of a knockout tournament with one game where you only have to play well for 90 minutes and that's it.
Right. Yeah. I guess, yeah, it's something to... It'll be interesting to see, honestly. I mean, I just cannot imagine Messi in a Paris Saint-Germain jersey, but, you know, there have been
Why? It's the same colours.
weirder transfers in the past, you know, so...
It's the same colors. Still blue and red.
Yeah. Off blue.
Off blue.
Just one final shout out to Cristiano Ronaldo. What will also be interesting to see is if Ronaldo can wrap up the whole GOAT debate and win a 6th Ballon d'Or, so that we can so he can match Messi's
It would be nice
number
for them to be matched.
Yeah,
you know,
and just have a closing to this whole CR7 versus Messi
I'm
debate.
sorry, I never want to see either Messi or Ronaldo anywhere near.
I know. Well, if Ronaldo wasn't at Juventus, I would probably tell you the same exact thing. Like, you know what? I'm glad to have been in a football era to watch both of them because they are both phenomenal players. But
he wants to have that dinner with Messi and that relationship.
Yeah.
He voted for him in the best. Messi didn't vote for Ronaldo, obviously. He voted for Messi actually as second, I think.
Yeah, he did. I think
he's like, I want to go have dinner with him.
I mean, I know we all don't know Cristiano Ronaldo personally, but like him, and the winner in him really wants it bad. Yeah. He wants that 2021 Ballon d'Or, and I really hope he gets it. I don't know how he's going to do it. He has to do something. He has to turn into Lewandowski next year or something. And
join a different team.
If there was any player...
I'm done.
If there was any player...
Podcast over for me.
I'll just say,
see you outside.
I'll just say this one thing. If there was any player who can maintain the physical form and attributes to play until he's 40, he's shown that he's that player.
He has, yeah.
But whether he can maintain the form to keep that goal scoring form, which is always the basis of his success, then maybe. So it's just down to whether Cristiano Ronaldo, the machine that he is, can he keep it going for another 2-3 years? Then it would be nice to see if he can.
Sure hope so.
Yes, he can. No, he won't be the best player in the world. But is he gonna be playing at like one of the top players? Yes, definitely. Look at Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
Yeah.
And he's still probably one of the best strikers in Serie A.
Yeah. But again, it'll come down to whether
is he Ballon d'Or material?
No, exactly.
It'll come down to whether Juve win honors with him in that form. If he's top scorer, etc., and Juve are win a double, then he's in it for a shot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I completely agree. Ronaldo can still help.
The Champions League
the
Champions League is a missing element for him and for Juventus Football Club as a whole, which we've been struggling to achieve.
Which is weird because he was like super good in the Champions League for Madrid.
He was?
Yeah, like his Champions League form was amazing.
But he was at his peak. You know? And honestly, he had an amazing supporting cast, you know? And unless Morata can turn into Benzema and become that player who actually sets him up and provides him with those chances, he's not going to have the same.
Please don't mention my amazing back heels.
I cannot get over that. That was just...
I mean...
Are we going to talk about the Morata
stuff? If he can be a supporting cast like Benzema, back heel.
The thing is, Benzema has done crap like that before as well, but honestly, you can't compare. He's so good. He's too good. All right, cool. So we're heading into mid-December. The EPL is going to go on the winter break. Some are not going to go on the winter break, while some of the other leagues are. It's going to be injuries galore all over again. We'll see when we have our next episode. If we're all too tired after the Christmas festivities and can't do it next week, we'll do it the week after. But we'll then see how it's shaping up then. If we do not have a session until then, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone celebrating, and we'll hopefully see you before that. If not, we'll see you in 2021. Take care, everyone. We'll see you later. Goodbye.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.